What is going on, everybody? Hopefully, everybody's having a spectacular morning, afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. If you're listening to this on the day that it drops, hopefully you had a delightful Thanksgiving, and the holiday season is in full swing. Yeah, let's pour some batchy, but Serge, what's your take on Christmas music? Are you pretty festive in that sense?
No. I'm not a big fan. No.
You don't like a Grinch or like a Frosty the Snowman theme song, or?
No, not a huge fan of Christmas music. I mean, it's all boring. It's all the same. Like, it's Mariah Carey is like just gonna be zipping through a bunch of department stores.
Right,
like if I need a dose of Christmas music, I'll just walk over to Target for a minute and then leave.
Right.
That's about it.
Right. It's like, a lot of Christmas music is just. I'm a fan of some of the oldies, like like Frosty the Snowman, some Grinch theme songs. They're just classic and iconic. Yeah. Not that they're good.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's kind of like Hallmark movies. It's so cringe that it almost becomes a vibe.
Yeah. I think we've talked about
and
movies.
You only need to do it once a year too. Please, like after Christmas, like stop.
I mean,
stop. I don't want to hear anything.
No.
After in January, and I don't want to hear anything in November actually.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just keep it simple, quick.
Yeah. Yeah, shouldn't have added more water. It's a little thin. But the reason I add more water is usually Ethiopian coffees take about more water to brew. They require a little more water for better extraction. Now the aromas are there, but man,
it's a little too thin.
It's like a little watery.
It kind of disappears into the...
Yeah, but the aromas are really nice.
Yeah, I'm getting like the thought of like some of the a little bit of maybe the blueberry, like the little bit of maybe some of the Swedish fish, very distantly. It's kind of yeah. Or maybe what would have, if you went like finer a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I didn't
go
too fine with more water. Yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah, usually Ethiopian coffees. That's the hard part. Everyone always talks about how Ethiopian coffees clog. It doesn't really happen much on batch brew.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually
true. It's kind of safer to go a little finer on it. So.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting take. Is that usually if you're frustrated with your pour overs stalling on pour over, you could just throw it on batch. Yeah. If you have a good batch brew maker. Yeah. And it usually is fine.
You could also say like, Ethiopian coffee should be brewed with a mellow drip or some form of screen. That's basically what the batch brewer is doing.
Yeah.
Basically, ish, without pulsating. Well, most batch brewers, like the Breville pulsates. The Aiden will pulsate for sure. Mm-hmm. The ratio pulsates. So,
yeah, man.
It's still a good coffee. I'm still not mad. There's still flavor as it cools.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So this is the Ethiopia.
My favorite coffee on the menu.
Exactly. The Ethiopia Natural Tuk Yudi or Tuke Ute. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. Out of Ethiopia, Karamo. It's a solid Ethiopian Natural. Honestly, very reminiscent of a washed Ethiopian. Just very delicate fruit. A little bit of peach going on in there. Some florals. It's, honestly, I don't know. It's great.
Yeah, I agree. I like it.
We just cupped it and it was tasting very nice on the cupping.
Yeah.
But we'll get into we'll come right back to this very shortly here.
Yes.
Because today is all about getting your coffee friend, partner, dad, mom, grandma a gift. Who knows if you have a really hip grandma that's brewing batchy. I don't know.
Or French press.
You wanna up her coffee game.
Right?
over the Christmas season, this is a good time, So, we're going to be talking a little bit about some coffee gift ideas. Because coffee gifts are fun.
Yeah, I think depends on who you're buying this gift and how much time you spend around that person. And there's a few neat ways that you can intrigue, find out, what does this person actually need? And a few of those things, I mean, obviously, if they don't have an espresso machine, you probably shouldn't buy them espresso gear, right? Or here's the thing, here's a twist to that comment. It's like, what if you buy them little espresso things, like they don't have an espresso machine, but you buy them the newest, basket from Weber. Like, why would you do that?
Just to troll them?
Well, no, you're not trolling them. You're actually enticing them to buy an espresso machine so that they can make you espresso.
Yeah.
Now that, I don't know if that's a good intent.
That's like a reverse psychology power move right there.
Yeah, wow. Exactly. Like, buy them an espresso mat, and they're like, what's this for tamping? They're like, I don't even have a tamper. Not to say I have an espresso machine.
Now you have to get one.
Well, yeah. This is a $4 tamper or a tamp mat. You need to get like the big step tamper for like $300.
Yeah.
Like, you have no choice now. Like, what are you gonna let this tamper go to waste? Like, what kind of person are you?
Exactly. That's
so that's one thing. But I think like intriguing and then figuring out, especially if if you're living with that person, you don't need to intrigue. You kind of already know.
Right.
But I'm thinking about like, what if our mom was to buy us a gift, like what kind of questions would she need to make without making it too obvious?
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That's usually the hardest part in trying to figure out to buy gear, because without like, there's infinite, in my opinion, there's so many things you can buy your coffee friend. But what would be a gift that would hit the nail on the head?
Right.
If someone came up to me and asked me like, oh, like, what's your setup today? Or like, what are you brewing at home today? Like, what kind of coffee are you drinking today? There's a few ways I can answer that would give away what I need. Like, right now I'm kind of out of coffee.
Yeah.
Like, my coffee is like kind of low. I've been like avoiding buying coffee, like heading out to the shop. You obviously know it's an easy answer. Go and buy them some coffee. That's easy. If you're talking to someone who's like, oh, yeah, I usually brew. I usually just do a pour over at home, classic, just basic. Then for a fact that they might have some things some gifts that you can buy that would benefit and make their pour over better, right? Mm-hmm. That's one thing. And then obviously, if that person is already brewing coffee at home, there's going to be a few gifts that will mention that any coffee brewer, any person that's brewing at home,
right,
a home barista could use this gift,
right,
and they would never complain. Right. It's like buying someone's socks.
Yeah. If you're being very lazy, minimal effort. Mm-hmm. All you need to know is like their main brewing method.
Yep.
And you can like get it in the ballpark.
Yeah.
That's how easy it is. It can be, but if you really want to put in a lot of time and effort, you might have to poke around and ask them some more pointed questions, or even just keep your holes open, or maybe come over and kind of poke around and be a little nosy.
Yeah.
That might help, but let's just like get into this, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff. So we're breaking this down into 3 sections. We're going a sub 50 to about ish 200.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go for the overachievers. We'll leave that for the end. So don't...
Side note, this is what came to my mind. I didn't mean to interrupt, but like, it would be super dope if someone had a coffee-themed Secret Santa.
Yeah.
Like, you can only buy coffee gifts. I don't know, that might be too niche. I don't know if that...
For like a Christmas, like a...
Party? Like a coffee Christmas party?
Like a Khmer lunch, like an ugly sweater... gathering or something. That's interesting.
That'd be super fun.
There's something on that. That's interesting. So sub 50, you're probably looking for, you probably won't get too many pieces of gear in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's a lot of things, so it's probably going to be closer to more accessory wise, kind of things like that. What's coming to mind? I know you have a lot of ideas. We were talking before the pod. What are some of the main heavy hitters that you would recommend?
Especially for me, the thing that impacts my brewing at home the most is filters and water. Those are, when it comes to coffee flavor, those are the things that have impacted my brewing experience the most at home. That is,
that's good.
You know, so if someone hasn't used Seabreeze coffee filters, then you should definitely introduce them to some fast filters. I'm not saying they're the best for every coffee. I rotate my filters quite often, but like we're talking about the Ethiopian coffie that stalls, Seabreeze filters are excellent. They have cone, they have flat, easy. Go to whatever website. Where would you buy Seabreeze filters? I know.
Oh man,
I usually go to Slow Pour.
That's a little hard. Yeah, Slow Pour. If you're in Canada, I think 8 ounce has them. If you're in Vancouver, there's a few cafes around town, maybe some at Revolver that you can pick up. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. You just never know where you're gonna come across them. But some of the bigger Prima Coffee, maybe, I don't know. So I would say just those filters. Even if you know someone, because they're pricier, if you know someone who's already using those filters, man, if someone buys me Seabreeze filters, I would be happy. Yes,
because spending some big bucks on those filters is always a.
Dang. And it's big bucks per filter, but it's still like a sub 50 gift.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And I mean, you can go Seabrist, you can go, what's it, Cafec?
Is that the other I haven't used those yet, but those are usually good.
I mean, you can, if somebody's using like an Oria, you can get them, flat.
Yeah, ripple-less. Yeah.
Ripple-less filters. I mean, in that vein, you can actually pick up, if it's somebody who's brewing espresso, some paper filters for their espresso.
Yes, that was the other thing. Yep.
I mean, right now there's actually a crazy amount of variety of filters. Yeah. Even I would actually go as far as saying, even if you bought a few different varieties, like if you bought Seabrist, Cafec, plus some ripple-less Oria, and they have multiple brewers, and you were to just overload them with amazing, like, different filters. Yes. Oh, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that would
hit.
Yeah, that would just hit.
Plus, I think it's a great stocking stuffer.
Yes, and speaking of stocking stuffer, I think water packets. Easy. I mean, if you can pack them with, again, if you can go for like a third wave water and perfect coffee water and maybe some other, throw them all in there, or you can overload on, like just third wave water. But those are great stocking stuffers. Or
easy. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Solid.
And those will impact their brew so much. And especially if you're buying, if you are a home barista right now and you have a friend who's like dabbling in brewing coffee at home, if you really want to entice them into the nerdy side of it, buy them some water packets. Because that kind of, usually when I talk to people about that, it kind of blows their mind. Yes. And then when they taste the difference, they're like, oh, this makes so much sense, and it doesn't cost you a lot to do that either. Yes. So I think that's great. But in the same category, it's like, hey, if you're looking for a gift for any coffee professional, like let's say you are not a home barista, it's very easy to buy someone a bag of beans. Way too easy.
That was.
If you're listening to this podcast, that's already way too easy. You don't have to make many decisions. The website is live. It's clucking. It's like, come on, easy.
Listen, it's. I mean, we've said this in the past few years. It's a almost guaranteed pleaser. I mean, just if they're a light roast drinker, don't get them dark roast, please. Don't troll them. Yeah. And if they're drinking dark roast, don't get them an ultra light roast, please. No. That's a recipe for disaster. But if you can kind of get I'm sure they have a few bags laying around of their favorite roasters. Just go buy anything from that roaster and you'll, hit in the ballpark. I mean, little plug here. I mean, this right now is a perfect time to buy some roasted coffee, especially
I know what you're going to say. I was just going to say the same thing.
From us or anybody. I mean, we'll roast the coffee right now. We'll ship it 3 weeks later of resting time. And you have primely rested coffees that are tasting amazing, and they can crack it open and literally brew it right in front of you and enjoy it. If you buy coffees like a week before Christmas, I mean, I'll tell you this: you're playing with fire because it may not arrive, but also, it's not gonna. They have to wait. They have to wait until the new year to brew it.
Yeah.
So that's one thing where you kind of have
a
to
Christmas gift at
you
that
kind
point.
of have to, yeah.
Like yeah.
Can we drop a little discount?
Yeah,
for this week, or what do you think?
We can like
little holiday discount.
Can we come up with one right now?
Yeah, what's it going
to be? Something about resting coffee.
Okay, holiday rest.
Holiday
rest.
Holiday rest plus the number of discount, whatever.
Yeah. Holiday rest. Let's go with holiday rest. 20. So sick. For 20% off, holiday rest 20. There's a link down in the description if you're on YouTube, Spotify, and it'll just enable that or whatever. Nice. Or maybe we'll just automatically put it on the website, but at least you know now. So, I mean, honestly, I think that's a win. That's a huge win. And so you can just never go wrong with coffee beans. So
yeah, I agree.
Anything else in that?
I think in that range, that's kind of it. I mean, of course, there's a lot more.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Like, there's a lot I can bring up. Like we talked about a little bit about like bar decor.
But touch up on that before we move on real quickly.
Dude, I love personalizing bars. Like I have a bunch of Star Wars figurines on mine, and some lingering skeletons from Halloween, and I love it. Like I can't I have little coffee gnomes. Like my daughter's like really into gnomes, so we bought her some coffee gnomes. Like they have to be on bar. So stuff like that, like literally about like 50 coffee gnomes for like $10. Like they're all over the house, like right now. So stuff like that for like a coffee bar, I think is like solid. Whatever that person is into, if that person is into cars, buy them a Hot Wheel or something for the bar, right? Yeah. Stuff like that. That's what I'm thinking about.
That's true. It's not coffee related, but
it's not. It doesn't have to be coffee related, and it's fun. It's makes the bar feel like home. Like,
yes.
Makes it feel a little less sterile, a little more inviting, a little warm. So that's what I would always recommend. Like I have Star Wars figures. Like if someone buys me a R2-D2 for my bar, I need a little gold flash on my bar, please.
Or if you buy them like the coffee taster's wheel.
Oh yeah,
that's fun. That's
little
really little frame with it on, or maybe like a photo of like a bean, some kind of. I don't know, this Sprudge or what's the
Barista Hustle?
Barista Hustle, like
cool
some
prints.
they're just cool like little prints.
Yep.
That you can hang up. That just I don't know. It just makes your little coffee bar corner a little more personalized than just
if you
gear.
Like your friend is, like I said, we can keep going. But I'm thinking of like how again thinking about Chris on Instagram and. Like his coffee bar is always lit so well. Like if you wanted to take that to buy him one of those light bars, dude. But that's not under 50.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. Well, now we're getting to 50 to 200. I mean, I'm gonna start with saying, if they're poking around getting into coffee, or they're considering it, or somebody in the entry level, dude, the Barazza Encore.
Yep.
ESP. For those who have maybe like a Breville Bambino or something like that, it's not bad. It's like $150.
Yep, a
little towards the higher end, but dang, I'm telling you, that first grinder, that's gonna be memorable. They're gonna remember that first grinder. They're gonna remember you,
of course,
for decades at least.
Of course, that impacts. Again, we always say this. If you're a home barista, the impact of a good coffee grinder. And if someone is going from a whirlwind of a grinder into a actual burr grinder, game changer.
100%.
I'm actually doing that. So Maddie's family is getting their first burr grinder.
Oh, come on.
So I'm like super stoked. I can't wait to dial in that grinder. Encore. Nice. Just a regular Encore, not the ASP. The one I want to throw down. So I'm like, sick.
Great.
So easy.
That's perfect.
Great gift.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Solid. That's one. I think also within that range, again, last episode we talked about like puck prep.
Yeah.
If your person is a espresso person, buy them some puck prep tools. Like I think it's super cool. Whether they already have WDT tools that you can buy more needles, or you can buy a different one.
Right.
Like buy them some of those. Outside of that, even again, I think some of the holders, like filter holders and some of those things are over 50 that are like very unique that you can buy. I think that's a big deal. But again, an accessory like that is key. Maybe because you and I have been talking about puck prep a lot. A lot of the tools like tampers, I absolutely like been obsessing over recently, whether that's like automated tampers or tampers that are like classic Big Step. I still use a Big Step, but I use that at the cafe all the time. So I'm like, do I need to get a Big Step for home?
Right.
So that's one of the things. The other thing is depending, again, this is for if they're brewing on espresso. Again, buy one of those Weber mirrors. I think they're right over 50. They're on the cusp. It's like an expensive accessory, but that mirror, I don't know why. You don't even need to take photos of stuff, but when you're looking at that espresso,
hey, you'll be able to know if your coffee's properly extracted. Yeah. If your coffee's dialed in, the stream is spot on.
Is that really true? Because Lance said something about ugly espresso.
I'm trolling. I'm trolling. Definitely. You will not be able to tell if your coffee tastes good just from the stream. But I will say, literally, as Sergi mentioned, this is a cool price range where it's usually stuff they might be timid to buy themselves because they're kind of pricier accessories.
Yeah.
But man, if you get them for them, they'll be over the moon. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned Weber. I think Weber Workshop is like a bougie accessory that you can get them. That's gonna get. I mean, I'm looking at the website. Like a blind shaker, $78.
Oh, sick.
The spring cleaner, which I've heard many people on the Facebook forums brave about it, $95.
Yes.
Their blind tumblers, like 60s. They're like a bean cellar. Those like bean holders. Yep. It's extra. I get it. But for a coffee, like home barista enthusiast, I mean, they might not want to spend $120 on a bunch of bean cellars, but they'll be pumped that you did.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I mean, this is bougie accessories. This is the price range.
Yeah. It definitely
and it's also not a price range that's enough to actually make a big impact on like an enthusiast bar. Like it's not enough to buy a killer grinder or, but those cool accessories though, again, yeah.
And I think to wrap this section up, I think the brewer that a lot of people have been talking about this year, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm behind, but I keep seeing it on Instagram, Next Level Brewer. That's something I'm interested by.
Yes.
That would be like, oh, okay. It's also a little more expensive than most brewers. Yes. Right? It's almost in the 100. Is it in the 70? Almost $100.
Yeah, it's like right on.
That's another popular one that you're like, I need someone to tell me one more time that I should buy it.
Yes.
Then I'm like, okay, maybe you should cop that. I actually, I want to brew more flat bed this next coming year because I'm back on the V60 game all year, just brewing a ton of V60 because I also competed with the V60, so I was like on the V60 game. But I think this year, this is under the 50. Like some brewers are just not that expensive anymore.
Right.
But I'm really curious by Verb's new brewer. What was it called again?
The beef something.
No? The Verve drop a brewer that is flat bottom, has a lot of holes, similar to the Oria, but it's made out of rubber. And that to me, rubber is the least conductive material. Well, second least conductive material ever. Wood would be doesn't conduct anything. But that's what I'm curious about. Is like, how does temp affect in that brewer? So that's another one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm glad you brought up brewers because that's also newer brewers are actually a little more expensive nowadays.
Yep.
Like the Next Level, the Oria I think is closer right under 50 or at 50-ish. I mean, newer AeroPresses are actually ridiculously expensive for what they are. Right. Yep. So, I mean, getting them one of those clear new version updated AeroPresses is cool. Yeah. That's actually great dripper range. You can find something, or you go extra crazy and buy the Elika Lifty, something like very niche origami, the April brewer. I don't know. So that could be fun also, actually. I think that's very well said.
And I think finally in that range, I would say like if the person is into latte art, a new pitcher is like a must. Yeah. Like easy. And I think especially if they're a home barista that has like one pitcher that they use for all drinks, buy them a different size.
Yeah.
And a round or wider spout is what I prefer, but depends on what kind of latte art they're in. Like, make sure that's where you do a little bit of, research. Like, what kind of latte art do they like? What are they posting? Like, what are they talking about? Ooh, they like fine lines and like the style. Oh, buy them a pitcher that would help them do better latte art within that style. Right. So,
yeah. All right. Finally, to wrap it up with some heavy hitters. I don't know how heavy we're going, but first thing that comes to mind is a grinder.
Yeah.
Getting them a grinder upgrade would be nuts.
Yep.
That would be an insane gift. But I don't know. I would say, like, look at the Time War sculptors.
Ooh.
There's been some really
Tell me more. I don't really know much about them.
Yeah, lots of really good things said about them. The 68, or gosh, I forgot what their numbers are. 68 and 78, I think. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good things. Lance has said a lot of good things. They're just really solid grinders, decently affordable and close to like end game, very tasty.
Yeah.
I mean, you can pick up like the Comandante hand grinders.
Yeah.
Huge fan. I mean, that's within like not super expensive, but would be like a wow gift if you pick something up like that.
How much was your trail?
I'm not sure. I bought it at a discount at SCA, but in the 200s.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So something like that.
Yeah, because their newer grinders, the big ones, are pretty darn pricey.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's another. Look, man, I always have these ideas for gifts that are not expensive. Like, if you have a friend who has a Comandante and they don't have the red clicks, very easy. True. Red clicks changed my brewing game with the Comandante. It's like a must. Yeah. Especially because I was using it for espresso for a while. Yeah. Like, it was a must. Yeah.
Yeah. So, grinder wise, I think that's what I would recommend. Some Time Wars or some, the Comandante. I don't know, anything that comes to mind for you.
Grinder wise, I'm slightly out of the loop for grinder wise. We keep talking about the Weber. Like, if I was to upgrade anything right now, I want the Weber key. That's it. I like the footprint on it. Right. It would get the job done at home. That's probably what I would get. That's a big gift. Like, if someone is buying someone and they're just a friend, or someone's like, okay, someone likes this person, like, you're like really crushing on this person, and you're like insane. You want to you want to really communicate how much you like this person. That's buying a Weber key is like, I don't know if that's a good motivation to try to buy into a relationship. Right. But I mean, that's one way to do it.
You know what they say, actions speak louder than words.
So
that's pretty insane.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah. But came to mind also is like a ode. An ode is like a solid, actually, like Gen 2, I think would be for somebody that owns like a Baratza Encore, what we talked about, or something cheaper. An ode will look beautiful on the counter, a solid grinder, and a set. So, outside of that, what are you thinking?
I'm still in the Flare game. Like, I love Flare. Just dropped a their new Flare. Flare just dropped their new Flare. It has a little button now on the front where it preheats the chamber instead of that. It was a little clunky before with all that, but now it's like a little more smooth and cleaner. Yeah. Flare is great. I love my Flare. I think it's great. It's like, if they don't have espresso and you have limited budget, because it's not technically quote unquote espresso machine, it produces espresso. So I think that would be fun to buy that for someone. Outside of that, and I also hear, what's funny is I do hear a lot of people getting Flares for Christmas. Yeah. Like, that seems to be pretty common because they're in that $500 range. Yeah. And that seems to be like pretty common. But outside of that, espresso machines, I also like, I don't, apart from like the Linea Mini, I don't know, what would you get? There's that one Lilith machine that we were talking about.
Lilith's not bad.
Back in the day, but
the Profitec lines are also really great.
Yeah.
There's some kind of budget-ish option if you don't want to go for a Breville, which is like probably a lot of people are getting Brevils.
And again, I gotta say, like, I would highly recommend getting a Breville, simply because the bang for the buck. how easy it is to brew coffee on a Breville. It hits the spot, and almost all of their lines are under 2K. Maybe there's 1 or 2 machines that are over 2K, brand new. So yeah, Breville, especially our favorite, the dual boiler.
Yeah.
Breville, too easy. That's it.
So I don't know. Any last thoughts on anything above 200?
I mean, batch brewers again.
Oh,
didn't you just cop a batch brewer?
Oh, dude, batch brewer. That's true. If you're a coffee enthusiast, friend, whoever, family member that doesn't have a batch brewer, but they're big on coffee, dude, a ratio or a fellow, Aiden, please. Yeah. I can't believe we waited 30 minutes to bring that up. That should have been in the beginning.
We talk a lot about batch brew, though.
It's just so good.
It's really good.
So just like batch brewers, like
both the brewers themselves and actually drinking batch is always nice. We're drinking batch right now.
Exactly. It's been a staple of the pod.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, go get your dang. A batch brewer is actually great. Like. Yeah, probably the ratio and the fellow Eden is probably, if you want to go above and beyond the X Bloom Studio.
Oh, dude.
But that's kind of like that's wild. That's already that's
an automated pour over machine.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
that's a lot. But it's a great option actually. Very good.
Question.
Very good.
Hit me with the biggest troll gift you can get someone. I've got one already. So,
dude. I don't know. I don't know. That was out of left field. I don't know.
If someone has the perfect setup, like they're brewing on all the brewers, they have all the filters, they have third wave water, I think you should get them a Chemex. Just get them a Chemex.
Oh god.
And I'll tell you what, it'll be fun. It'll be funny. They might brew a Chemex on and off. I'm not clowning on people who brew on Chemex. I have 3 of them. Majority of them are used for propagating plants, but
wow,
you should do it because they might decorate their coffee bar with some propagations.
Wow.
Am I wrong or am I wrong?
Wow.
Dude? Or am I right? Like, well,
that was troll level maximum.
A+. That'd be fun
with some pre-ground coffee.
Yeah, dude. Straight from Whole Foods.
Used on their
no, from Trader Joe's. Dude, let's go.
Wow. All right, there it is. For all you trolls at the end, there's an Easter egg right there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to another episode. If you want to hint to somebody, again, share this episode with somebody who's like, hey, I don't know what to get you. You just a link and you got them.
Easy.
They'll find something in here. Go pick up some coffee from us. Now's the time to buy. But
Holiday Rest 20 or 30?
Exactly. Holiday
20?
Rest 20.
20.
But yeah, other than that, happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully everybody's doing well. And as we always say, remember, reflect what's good.